OC. Viewer discretion is advised. Incoming transmission in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Outcasted OC, and that's right, it's me again appearing on your screen. I usually do the NXT review, but this week I'm doing SmackDown. Looks like everyone's out of town, so it's just me covering Friday Night SmackDown for you guys this week. I'm actually okay with this because obviously my favorite faction is on SmackDown, Bloodline. Always like to talk about the Bloodline, so let's get straight into it. It looks like there's a blizzard or something going on in Nebraska, Lincoln, Nebraska this week. It's mentioned several times on commentary. It doesn't seem to have affected any of the wrestlers getting to the town or anything, but apparently some of the fans had trouble getting to the arena. So, you know, well done to the people that actually got there. They've actually got a pretty decent show, so the effort was worth it, in my opinion. The show opens where it looks like we're about to get Grayson Waller versus Cameron Grimes, kind of a grudge match, what's been happening for the past couple of weeks. Obviously, Cameron Grimes is kind of been winding up Grayson Waller and Austin Theory about getting beaten up by Kevin Owens. So this was supposed to be the blow-off match until the Bloodline jump Cameron Grimes as he's coming out. So that match does not take place. Solo Sikoa and Jimmy Uso just beat down Cameron Grimes, and the match never takes place. And later on in the night, Grayson Waller takes the victory as a forfeit, so he's taking credit for what the Bloodline did. He is he's Grayson Waller. What you gonna do about it? You gotta love Grayson Waller. Heyman, while he's in the ring, obviously the crowd are booing Paul Heyman, like, you know, because they wanted to probably see the match. Paul Heyman said, you know, direct your jeers somewhere else. It is not our fault. We're not the bad guy. Solo isn't the bad guy. Jimmy isn't the bad guy. Roman Reigns isn't the bad guy. Paul Heyman, the wise man. I am not the bad guy. It is the guy standing right there, the James Bond wannabe NICK Aldis. He is the one who put Roman Reigns in the compromising situation at the Royal Rumble, where he will probably be guaranteed to be losing the undisputed WWE Championship. NICK Aldis gets on the mic, well, actually snatches the microphone off Paul Heyman, saying, listen, don't be confused. This is not a conversation between equals. The match at the Royal Rumble is still happening. If you guys didn't know, it's yeah, I believe this is the first review for SmackDown back after the Christmas period, so let's talk about it. Last week, Roman Reigns and the rest of the Bloodline interrupted that triple threat #1 contenders match between AJ Styles, LA Knight, and Randy Orton. That made NICK Aldis turn around and decide, you know what? Fine. It's going to be a fatal four-way at the Royal Rumble for the championship. That is what NICK Aldis is referring to. So tonight he has decided to make a 6-man tag team match. AJ Styles, Randy Orton, and LA Knight versus Solo Sikoa, Jimmy Uso, and Roman Reigns of the Bloodline. Paul Heyman grabs another microphone and says, listen, you know as well as I do that Roman Reigns isn't here tonight. NICK Aldis just smiles and goes, oh yeah, you're right. It looks like you're going to have to find a new partner then, I suppose, Bloodline. You know, because if you don't, then this match is still happening at the end of the night, and it is going to be a handicap match. So the Bloodline are in trouble. Let's see how they try and deal with this situation throughout the night. Paul Heyman is telling Jimmy Uso not to worry. You know, he will sort this out. He will find someone to join this match and team with Solo Sikoa and Jimmy Uso. There's been people for years begging him to join the Bloodline, so he is confident that he can find someone. Jimmy Uso's still worried. Solo Sikoa just goes, I'm not worried. And this is like the first time of a few times that he says that tonight. We now go to a really, really cool video package where I just want to point out how good Santos Escobar is speaking in video packages and on the microphone. I think he's very underrated. He talks about people never complain when the lion hunts down the gazelle. He talks about how, you know, nobody ever complains when somebody steps on an anthill because it is a natural order of things. The strongest will survive. And it is the same with his new family. It is the same with Santos Escobar, Angel Garza, and Humberto Carrillo. They will crush the LWO, not out of hatred, but out of pity. Their order will prevail. And I was like, damn, okay, that's a really good introduction to the new faction. I believe they're still called the LWO, but it's Legado World Order instead of Latino World Order. So interesting. Like maybe it's going to be like, you know, whoever wins gets to keep the LWO name. I don't know if they'll do that in this day and age, but we'll just have to see. Time will tell. We do get a tag team match here. Humberto Carrillo and Angel Garza with Santos Escobar on commentary versus Cruz del Toro and Joaquin Wilde. Joaquin Wilde coming off the bat from last week in NXT New Year's Evil, where he did that amazing dive with the help of the rest of the LWO. It just sent him into the stratosphere. Absolutely amazing scene. So he's back in the crowd. The crowd are actually getting behind the LWO here. Santos Escobar doing great commentary on this week's episode of SmackDown, where he's talking about how he actually knows Angel and Humberto. Apparently he used to work with Hector Garza, Angel's grandfather or father or something. I don't know which one it is. I believe it's his grandfather. And that's how he knows the two cousins. So really, that's his real family because, you know, he's known them since they were children. So, you know, with allies like that, you know, they will destroy the LWO. You know, he has a lot of hatred for that family because he saw it as a betrayal when they decided to, you know, trust Carlito over him and essentially turn their back on him. Well, Santos Escobar sees it as his new family, his original family. Let's go, basically. This match comes to an end where Santos Escobar hears Carlito's music. He gets up to go and, you know, attack him. But Carlito comes out of the crowd and attacks Santos from behind. Them two start fighting and like distracting everybody in the ring. It looks like Joaquin Wilde and Cruz del Toro are about to pick up the victory, but it's not to be. Before I talk about the end of this match, there's a beautiful moment in this match where Garza and Humberto have Joaquin Wilde on the top rope. They both pick him up in like a power slam kind of move and slam him to the mat from the top rope, kind of like a top rope power slam move. It's beautiful. This match was really good. Like just because it's a lot of lucha libre tag team matches on SmackDown. I want to see more of that. Yes, please. It was just a really solid match, and in my opinion, probably match of the night. I thought it was a really solid match. Everyone in this match pulled the weight. It was really cool to see. This match comes to an end where it looks like I believe Joaquin Wilde is trying to roll up Angel Garza, but Angel Garza stops it halfway through, grabs the ropes for the 1, 2, 3. The new faction picks up the victory, which in my opinion is the best decision for everybody here. We now go backstage to where Carmelo Hayes is talking about how he wants to be in the Royal Rumble match after his performances on SmackDown for the past couple of weeks. He's about to ask this when he is interrupted, and him and Nick Aldis are interrupted in their conversation by Grayson Waller and Austin Theory, who burst in and demand that they give Grayson Waller the victory because obviously Cameron Grimes couldn't compete. They turn their attention to Carmelo Hayes and they say, you know, why are you here? What are you even doing here? Obviously, Carmelo Hayes has a problem with Grayson Waller from the past. They faced each other for the NXT Championship, I believe. Carmelo Hayes knocked Grayson Waller out of the United States Championship tournament. So obviously they have a little bit of beef. Carmelo Hayes is willing to run it back tonight, but Grayson Waller's like, no, I already competed and I already won. You know, like warming up, warming down, it's not good for me. But Austin Theory, Mr. A-Town Down, will deal with this situation for us both and will put you in your place. Carmelo Hayes is fine with that match, and that match is set up for later on tonight. We now stay backstage, should I say, where Paul Heyman is trying to recruit people to fight with the Bloodline tonight. He walks up to Carlito and says, you know, he offers him an apple. And he says, you know, if you take this apple, you know, say, yeah, join the Bloodline. You know, we've known each other for a long time. Carlito pretty much turns around and says, no, takes the apple anyway. Paul Heyman isn't happy about this. There's a segment later on in the night where Pretty Deadly walk up nervously to Paul Heyman saying, you know, we're an amazing tag team and we'd love to work with you, etc. Paul Heyman says, you know, we only need one of you, basically. You know, we've already got two people. We don't need both tag teams. It's either one or the other. And then they immediately back out and then walk away. I thought that was quite funny. Pretty Deadly like was so willing to fight with the Bloodline, and then all of a sudden they changed mind when they realized it was only one of them. Like they were like, oh wait, no, hang on, actually we've got something to do, we can't help you, sorry, Paul. Speaking of Pauls, Logan Paul is on the big screen talking about how the black eye he has got is because of the unfair advantage that Kevin Owens has got heading into the Royal Rumble. He is not only going to beat him in the ring, he is going to beat him in the courtroom because he's going to sue him for that cast on his hand. And he says if he comes to the Royal Rumble with that cast on his hand, then you can call the match off. It is not happening. The United States Championship match is cancelled. Kevin Owens comes back later on in the night, but we'll just talk about it now. And says, listen, I know what you're playing at. Like, you're just scared. You're scared that I'm going to beat you for the United States Championship. Absolutely ridiculous. You've got the advantages. I've got the broken hand. But I'll tell you what, we'll talk about it in person. How about you, for the first time next week, you come to SmackDown and appear on the Kevin Owens show, and we can talk about this in person. So it looks like we're getting a KO show next week. Logan Paul is showing up for the KO show. I don't really expect much out of that, to be honest with you. I don't really know what we're going to be getting, really, but it is what it is. I'm more looking forward to the match at the Royal Rumble, to be honest. KO versus Logan Paul. Give me that every single day. Don't get me wrong, Logan Paul's a great talker. So is Kevin Owens. I'm just not really expecting anything out of the KO show this week. Sorry, next week. So yeah, low expectations. It's just a bit of a filler heading into the Royal Rumble, which will just be a week after that. We stay backstage again. There's a lot of backstage segments tonight, guys. Tyler Bate and Butch are talking in a bar. Well, I say it's a bar. I think it might just be a cafe. Tyler Bate comes back like with a mochaccino, latte, sunny. I don't know what the hell he's got. He's got a fancy coffee basically, and then he just says, "And Butch, a black coffee for you," because you know that's just what Butch drinks because he's hard, he's dead hard, British strong style, etc. Butch is talking about how he is making his own way. You know, Rolling Brutes is in the past. Everything is in the past and he needs to make his own direction. And Tyler Bate says, listen, I know who you are. I've known you for a long, long time. And I can tell that you are lost at the moment. You don't really know who you are. You have a bit of an identity crisis. Let's do some meditation. and Butch just pretty much just goes, sure, man. Don't make me regret making that phone call last week. You're on SmackDown. I'm on SmackDown. We're doing our own thing. Let's see how it works out. But Tyler Bate won't drop it. And he is he's saying to him, you know, this is the best time to show everybody what British strong style means. I think he's trying to create a tag team here, and he says, I'm trying to help you through this identity crisis. You know who you really are. Back in Blackpool, there was someone else who told you who you really was, and you need to figure out who that person is. And for me, this is a bit of a tease. It looks like Butch is changing his name back to Pete Dunne, thank goodness, because at the end of this segment, he's just staring off onto the camera. He's just like, you know, it looks like he's really thinking things over. He's going back to who he was originally at the Blackpool show to crown the new champion. He is going back to the bruiserweight that was in NXT that held that UK title for so long. He is going back to Pete Mother effing Dunne. I am down for this. Please show me this every single day. Yes, please. Pete Dunne. Get Butch out of there. Get Pete Dunne back. British strong style on SmackDown. I am 100% down for that. Let me know what you guys think of that in the comments. Triple H is a massive fan of Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne, so it looks like they're his little pet projects that are heading into 2024. I can expect massive things for Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate heading forward. With that a bit, whether you know, be a tag team or a singles run, I don't know. Either way, I want to see it. Let me know if you want to see it in the comments. We get a pretty decent match here, a long match here, between Bianca Belair versus Bayley heading into the Royal Rumble. I believe it was Kevin Patrick who pointed out something interesting. The last time Bianca Belair won the Royal Rumble, the last match that she had before that was against Bayley. So she's looking to try and, you know, repeat history by beating Bayley tonight and heading on to win the Royal Rumble in a couple of weeks. Like I say, this match is your standard Bianca Belair versus Bayley match. We've seen this match a couple of times, that, you know, the old rivals that go all the way back to 2022. So it was a great match, but not really much seen different here, to be honest with you. There is a really cool segment, however, where Bayley ties Bianca's braid to the ropes. You know, try to hinder her movement. She can't get up. So Bayley then goes off, goes like, you know, running to the ropes, tries to hit a knee, but Bianca Belair moves out of the way and kind of uses her own braid as like a tripwire. It's quite cool. I was quite impressed with it. Another thing that I was impressed in here was the fact that Bayley is like one of those people at the moment who isn't making much of an impact, who is having a bit of struggle in her own faction in Damage Control. She's not really got any rivalries going on at the moment, but she can be called upon to do a great match whenever the time suits. So I love Bayley. I love her matches. I want to see a lot from her in 2024. I would quite like to see her win the Royal Rumble, but I don't think that's probably going to happen. We get to the end of this match where Bayley throws Bianca Belair to the outside of the ring, and the rest of Damage Control just kind of stand there and do nothing, which surprises Bayley because I think she was expecting, them to get involved and actually do something, but they don't. This like ends up costing Bayley as Bianca Belair ends up getting him back into the ring, hitting a devastating spear on Bayley, and then the KOD for the 1-2-3. Bianca Belair having the momentum heading into the Royal Rumble. Going straight backstage after this, obviously Bayley is a bit concerned at the rest of Damage Control. She's a bit confused as to why they didn't help her. Kai basically says, the referee was right there. What are we going to do? I tell you what, focus on, your plan for Damage Control to hold all the gold. And for that, you need to win the Royal Rumble. So you focus on that. You lost. It is what it is. It happens. Move on. Carry on staying focused for the Royal Rumble. Bayley doesn't look convinced, though, to be honest with you. So, we don't really know what the problem is going to be between Bayley and the rest of Damage Control for now. But it's going to rear its ugly head eventually, and it's going to end up costing Bayley in the long run, I believe. We now go to the ring again, where Bobby and the Street Profits come out and address what happened last week when Karrion Kross, Scarlett, and Paul Ellering appeared on the ramp, and then the AOP jumped them all from behind. This was absolutely fantastic. It's so good to see Akam and Rezar back in WWE. I know they've been signed again for a while, but it's great to see him in the ring. It's great to see him doing something. I love AOP. They were great in NXT, and they really never got a shot on the main roster to do anything special. So it's great to see them back and in a new faction with Paul Ellering. I was saying this a couple of days ago on the podcast. The worst thing and the worst decision that ever happened with AOP, for some reason, when they first debuted on the main roster all the way, like I think it was like 2018, on the first night they ditched Paul Ellering. And I thought that was really a strange thing to do. I'm not sure why WWE made that decision. I thought it was stupid. I'm assuming it was one of them Vince mannerisms. Who knows? But the good thing is Paul Ellering is back. And basically, Bobby Lashley here says, you jumped us from behind. You started a fight that you can't win. We face our enemies face to face. We deal with situations face to face. So how about you guys get out here right now and we will deal with this situation now. The only person who appears on the stage is Paul Ellering, who then points to the screen where Karrion Kross and Scarlett are addressing what is going to be happening in the future. Basically, Karrion Kross says, his whole plan, his whole, game, like for the past couple of years, has been to get into the mind of people, to destroy them from within. And now that he's got Akam and Rezar, the authors of pain, they can also destroy them on the outside as well. The two most dangerous people in the world, and also one of the most sadistic people on earth, Paul Ellering. This is going to be a good faction, and we also get the name of it as well. The Final Testament. I really like the name of that faction, the Final Testament. That's going to be dope. We see now that we've got some great factions forming, not just in NXT, not just on Raw, but on SmackDown as well. But think about this, guys. You've got Scarlett, you've got Paul Ellering, and then you've got Karrion Kross, Akam, and Rezar. That is a very, very strong faction called the Final Testament. Really, really cool. Kind of like a House of Black style faction, in my opinion. But that's going to be really interesting to see, and I can't wait to see where that goes. I have a feeling it's probably going to be like a 6-man tag team match at the Elimination Chamber. Big match for Perth, Australia. I'm looking forward to seeing that whole pay-per-view, and I'm assuming that is going to be one of the big matches of that show. We now go backstage now to where Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits have made their way backstage, and they walk into Paul Heyman, where Paul Heyman tries to recruit Bobby Lashley the same kind of way he tried to recruit Carlito, except without an apple. He says, we've known each other for a long time, Bobby Lashley. I know you've got your problems with Karrion Kross at the moment, but, maybe you should take your frustrations out on Randy Orton, AJ Styles, and LA Knight tonight. And Bobby Lashley says, no, the only time I want to be in the ring with the Bloodline is when I'm facing Roman Reigns on the other side of that ring for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship. So maybe that's a nod to what's going to be happening in the future. I'm looking forward to that. We get a really good match that ends quite sadly here, guys. Carmelo Hayes versus Austin Theory, a really solid match. Both of these guys putting on a great show. I'm not going to really talk much about it because like something happened at the end of the match, which was quite concerning. Austin Theory goes up for he's done it a couple of times now without failure, so it just must have gone wrong here. No fault to any of these people, no fault to Hayes, and no fault to Theory. It goes wrong. Theory goes up for that springboard Spanish fly that he does off the second rope, and both of them just land like really high on the temples of the heads. They kind of just both get spiked. And the referee stops the match immediately, which was the right decision. I'm not really sure how injured they are. I'm sure we'll get an update on that at some point, but it's good to see that both of them are moving around at least. Obviously they're going to be both checked for concussion. Obviously CTE is a massive thing in any sport at the moment, so it's always a good sign when they're moving around, I suppose. So get well soon to Carmelo Hayes and get well soon to Austin Theory. Wishing nothing but the best. So, good luck to both of them. We now go backstage to where it looks like it looks like Paul Heyman has kind of tried to twist this on the bloodline, and they've said, and he said, we all know that everyone's been, kind of pieing Paul Heyman, everyone's kind of denying Paul Heyman tonight, but he turned it around and says, no one was worthy to join the bloodline. No one was worthy to tag with the bloodline. So tonight I have total faith in Juso. Juso is Jimmy Uso. I've never heard him say that before. And I have total faith in Solo Sikoa. Jimmy Uso kind of looks a little bit worried, and he still says he's worried. And Solo Sikoa says again, I'm not worried. And Jimmy Uso just goes, fine. You know what? If Solo's not worried, then I'm not worried. Yeet. And then walks out. And then Paul Heyman's face, he doesn't look very confident, to be honest with you. But facing three of two of the greatest of all time in LA Knight, who was on an absolute roll at the moment, I wouldn't be very confident either, to be honest with you. But good luck to the bloodline here. We now go outside to not outside, in the arena, to where we're going to be getting this looks like now 3-on-2 handicap match between Orton, Styles, LA Knight, and the Bloodline. As Randy Orton is making his entrance, he gets attacked by Jimmy Uso and Solo Sikoa, essentially taking him out of the match tonight. It looks like Randy Orton is not going to be able to compete, so it's just now your standard tag team match. LA Knight and AJ Styles versus Solo and Jimmy. And what I will say about this match is it's nothing really to write home about. I didn't think it was very interesting. It was a standard main event tag team match that didn't really have anything about it, to be honest. It was just a case of Jimmy Uso and Solo Sikoa beating down the faces until they have an opportunity to tag. There's a moment in this match where LA Knight is on the outside. He's on the apron where he's waiting for a tag, and AJ Styles has a perfect opportunity to tag in, and he doesn't, because he doesn't trust LA Knight. He says he's going to screw him over, which was I thought that was a bit of a stupid decision, because even if he does tag in LA Knight, AJ Styles is out of the firing line there because he's not the legal person, so he had really nothing to lose there. So before he's able to finally make a decision, Jimmy Uso super kicks LA Knight off the ropes, and he starts beating down AJ Styles. As this is going on, Randy Orton's music hits, and he is back. He is finally back after, I don't know, about 10 minutes, when it looked like he was going to be out for the whole night, but it is what it is. He makes his way to the outside. He gets on the apron and holds out his hand for the tag. AJ Styles is able to make the tag to Randy Orton, who then is able to hit an RKO on Jimmy Uso for the 1, 2, 3. Randy Orton, LA Knight, and AJ Styles have some momentum now heading into the Royal Rumble. Solo Sikoa tries to jump Randy Orton after the match, which he successfully does, but obviously the rest of the people get involved. Solo Sikoa ends up getting hit with a phenomenal forearm as he tries to hit the Samoan spike on Randy Orton. So he gets hit with a phenomenal forearm. He then gets up again and gets hit with a BFT from LA Knight. And Solo Sikoa is like, he's really getting pushed here. He's getting beaten down, but he's really getting pushed and shown how he's such a strong and formidable opponent. Because then he gets up again from the BFT, something that no one's done apart from Roman Reigns, and then gets hit with an RKO. And that's not even enough. So Randy Orton then goes to beat down Jimmy Uso outside of the ring, throws him into the timekeeper's area, and then all three people grab Solo Sikoa, who is still moving around after the BFT, after the RKO, and after the phenomenal forearm. Three of the biggest finishing moves in the business right now. They get him up for the triple shield style powerbomb. That is a message to Roman Reigns right through the announce table. That is what finally keeps Solo Sikoa down. Roman Reigns is in a bit of trouble here heading into the Royal Rumble. But what did you guys think of SmackDown? Let me know in the comments and leave a like if you liked this video and the review of Friday Night SmackDown this week. It's been an absolute pleasure covering SmackDown for you guys this week. I don't usually get to do it, and it's my favorite show apart from NXT. So I love talking about SmackDown with you guys. And if you like it, like I say, leave a thumbs up on the video. You can go follow Outcasted, guys, on X/Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at OutcastedOC if you want to see more exclusive content. If you want to see the podcast from Thursday, it was what we want to happen in 2024. Go check that out. It's a really cool video. I had a lot of fun making it with the guys. If you want to check out my NXT review from the day before that, I cover the first NXT that Outcasted has covered in 2024. It was a pretty decent show. And finally, from Monday, we have got Courtney covering Monday Night Raw, doing a great job as usual. Make sure you stay tuned because it looks like Ross is going to be covering this week in AEW. And then make sure you stay tuned for next week, where you're going to be getting more content from the guys. But for now, go follow us all on our individual accounts. I hope you have an amazing rest of your weekend, guys. Happy Saturday and peace out.